Hi everyone, welcome to your Monday class. We're going to start tonight in a seated pose. So it's called broken toe pose. So tucking your toes under your feet, making sure all 5 toes are making contact with the mat, and then sitting back on your heels and really try and have yourself sitting on your heels. Your heels can be together if that feels okay. Your knees can be together, or you can have them a little bit separate. And then just bringing yourself up nice and tall, nice tall spine, crown of the head up towards your ceilings, palms of your hands facing up. And even though this shape can be a little bit uncomfortable, it's a beautiful way to open up through the fascia of the feet and all the way up the back chain of the legs. So we'll take a few breaths here, and if you find that it's really very uncomfortable, you're welcome to come up onto your shins, or if you need to, you can untuck the toes. But otherwise, just coming into the shape for a few breaths, palms face up in a gesture of receiving. We're going to start inhaling through the nose, really filling up the lungs, the front, the back, the sides. Pausing at the top of the inhale, breath retention, and then exhaling, slowly releasing the breath all at once from the body. Inhaling, filling up, softening the shoulders, pausing at the top. Exhaling to softly release the breath. 3 more rounds like this in your own time and your own rhythm of breath, knowing that any discomfort won't last forever. It's a few breaths and then it's over. And just like we build resilience in our yoga practice, it teaches us to build resilience out there on that big mat called life. So whilst we never want to force ourselves or injure ourselves in any way, always staying that little second longer than you wish to. Let's take one more inhale here together. Stay for the exhale. Slowly blinking open the eyes. Coming onto your hands and knees, you can lift the feet up off the ground and give the toes a little bit of a wriggle, or you can give them a tap, tap, tap onto the mat. You choose. And then exhale, slowly starting to come into a child's pose. So bring your hips to your heels first. Feel the belly and the ribs connecting with the thighs. You might want to tent the fingers and almost hollow through the armpits. And think more about getting the sit bones to the heels. If you need to support under your feet with a blanket or a cushion or something like that, you're welcome to. And then again, coming into your breath, nice big belly breath, inhaling all the way down to the base of your spine, your root chakra. Exhale, softly letting something go. So take about 3 or 4 breaths here. And each time you exhale, see if you can bring yourself down a little bit closer to the earth. There's no destination. We're not trying to go anywhere. We're just using the breath to make space in the body and then letting the exhale soften. You've got the space and you can bring your hands flat to the earth and start to walk your fingers forward a little bit, bringing the crown of your head or your forehead to the earth. Go for it. If you don't quite get down as low, it doesn't matter. Just as long as you're witnessing yourself, your breath, your movement. Inhale, coming up to all fours. Just moving through a gentle cat-cow here, 2 or 3 times. And then we're going to tuck our toes and lift our hips up into our first down dog. So maybe pedaling one knee and then the other. As you bend the left knee, see if you can bring the right heel to the earth. And then swapping sides. Right knee bends, left heel to the earth. Fingers are wide, first row of knuckles on the earth. And as you come to stillness in the shape, See if you can press away from the ground and bring your chest towards your thighs, bringing a little bit of a bend to the back of the knees. Take a breath here. Stay for the exhale. Let's inhale onto the balls of our feet, bringing ourselves into a plank pose. So press through your hands, round through your upper back. Draw the belly in, squeeze the legs together. Exhale, bending the knees towards the earth without touching the earth. Scooping back up, downward facing dog. Pressing away from the hands a little bit more, bringing the chest through, gazes between the ankles. See if you can almost bring the armpits to face each other. Taking a breath here. Stay for the exhale. Let's inhale back to our plank pose, rolling slowly like the waves of an ocean. Maybe this time your shoulders come a little bit forward of your wrists. And then bending your knees, scooping back, downward facing dog. Notice the space as you exhale. Inhaling, coming forward. Maybe coming a little bit more forward, maybe rolling onto the very tips of your tippy toes, drawing the belly in, looking forward, bending your knees, lifting the hips, downward facing dog. Always knowing that you can have your knees on the ground anytime you need. You can always modify any way you need. Inhale, floating onto the balls of the feet, little steps towards your hands. When you get to your hands, inhale to halfway lift, looking forward. Hands can be on the shins, shoulders slide down the back. Exhaling to fold. Little bend in the knees, ribs, belly towards your thighs, crown of the head heavy towards the ground. Inhale to look forward. Exhaling to fold, pressing through both feet, bending the knees, curling yourself up to standing. Sweeping the arms up and overhead. Maybe the palms touch, maybe a little back bend here at the top. Exhaling, forward fold. Inhaling, looking forward. Exhaling to fold. One more. Pressing through the feet, bending the knees, rolling yourself up. Chin comes up last. Inhaling the arms up and overhead. Palms together. Exhaling all the way down. Bringing your hands flat to the earth. Stepping the right foot back. Stepping the left foot back into your plank pose. Pressing away from the earth. Feel the first row of knuckles connecting, squeezing the mat with your fingertips. Bending the knees, scooping up, downward facing dog. So walk your hands about one hand print closer towards your feet. Spread the fingers wide on your right hand. Press the first row of knuckles into the earth. And then bring your left hand to the inside of your left ankle, or higher up if you need. You might want to point your left toes out to the left a little bit. Start to press into your left foot and your right hand, look forward. Maybe you start to disconnect the right leg from the earth. You might just lift it up a tiny amount, or maybe you lift it up towards the sky. Steady gaze. Both the hand and the foot on the earth are working as hard as each other. And then gently replacing the right foot to the earth. Left hand to the earth. Taking a breath here. And we'll set up for the other side. So looking at your left hand, fingers spread wide, gripping the mat, right hand inside your right ankle. Looking towards the front of your mat. Start to separate the left foot from the earth. Maybe you just tap it in the beginning. Maybe you're able to lift the top leg up. So you're pressing through the bottom hand and foot as you're engaging through the top leg. One more inhale here. Steady, soft gaze. Exhaling, releasing the foot, the leg. Right hand to the top of the mat, coming back into your downward facing dog. Very nice. Taking a breath here. Stay for the exhale, floating onto the balls of your feet. Tippy toes towards your hands. Inhale, looking forward. Exhaling to fold, bending through your knees. Sweeping up, press evenly through both feet. Sweeping the palms up and overhead. Right hand grips the left wrist. So make sure your feet are under your hips. Inhale to reach up tall. Exhale, your right hand gently guides your left hand over to the right. Your left hip goes out to the left a little bit more. Stepping into the right foot, maybe the left foot begins to lift up. It doesn't have to lift up a lot. One more breath here. Stay for the exhale. And then gently bring the left foot down. Swapping hands. Left wrist holds right. Inhale to grow tall. Exhaling, leaning over to the left. Right hip goes out to the right a little bit. Weight into the left foot. Maybe disconnecting the right foot from the earth. Steady gaze. One more breath here. Exhaling, gently coming back out. Bringing your hands down. Coming into a forward fold. Inhale to look forward. Step the left foot back. Step the right foot back. This time we'll come through a half push-up. So elbows back. Squeezing the ribs with the inner arms. Tops of the feet down to the earth. Opening up. Upward facing dog. So draw the chest through your arms. Exhaling, downward facing dog. 2 breaths here. Big inhale to refresh the body. As you exhale, letting go of something, releasing something, softening a little bit more into the shape. Let's inhale the right leg up. We're going to bring the knee to our chest and gently step the right foot, heel first, then toe to the front of the mat, bringing the left knee down. Inhaling up through your low lunge. So squeeze the left glute. Make sure the right knee is above the right ankle. Gazing up at the space between your hands, softening the shoulders down. And then exhaling, hands on either side of the right foot. Hips back, straightening through the front leg. Ball of the foot can be off the ground or on the ground, you choose. So look forward, opening the heart to the front of the room. Draw your shoulders down your back. Half splits, Ardha Hanumanasana. Taking a breath here. Stay for the exhale, bending into the right knee, left hand under the left shoulder, opening up into your easy twist. Right arm lifts. From here, we're going to take the right arm back behind us and do 3 circles. So brushing the fingertips along the earth. Inhale, lifting the right arm towards the ceiling, really opening the heart towards the right as the hand comes to the top of the motion. 2 more like that. Inhaling up, press through the hand on the earth to open your heart. 1 more like that. When your fingers reach as high as they can reach, let's reverse the motion. Right arm forward, down, back, up. 2 more like that. Your movement, your breath. Inhaling the right arm up, bringing the right hand down, and start to inch your right foot over to the left side of your mat, flexing the right foot as you come down into a pigeon pose. So we're not going to go too deep too early. So you decide how this shape feels good for you. If your left hip is really piking up, place a block underneath it. Fingertips to the mat. Inhale to open the heart. Exhale, folding forward. 2 more like that. Inhaling up. Exhaling down. 1 more. Inhale, rolling up like the waves of an ocean. Exhaling, starting to walk your hands forward. Maybe you come onto your forearms. Maybe you come all the way down for a couple of breaths. Inhaling into any sensation that isn't pain. We never want pain in the knee. So if you've got pain in the knee, come out of this shape. Otherwise, 1 more breath here. Stay for the exhale. Slowly start to walk your hands back towards your shin. We're going to start to roll onto our hips, onto our sit bones. So your front leg might still be in pigeon, and we're going to come into a wide-legged shape. So do it in a way that feels okay with your hips. If you need to get into it in a different way, that's fine as well. Inhale to open the heart. Exhale, start to walk yourself slowly down the middle of your legs. So we want that feeling that you're on the front of your sit bones and your hips are going back. That sort of way. If you're like this, put a block under your sit bones. You want to feel like you're tilting your chest forward. And again, we're just warming up here, so nothing too extreme, but just starting to feel where the sensations are, to breathe through the sensations. 1 more breath here. Breathe it away. Inhale, bringing yourself back. We're going to turn to the back of the mat. So as delicately as you can, we're going to come back up onto our back knee and step our front foot forward and come into low lunge on that side. So finding your low lunge, you can have your feet wide if you're feeling a little bit unbalanced in the shape, and then arms up, gazing between the space between your hands. Little squeeze onto the right glute. Exhaling, Ardha Hanumanasana, half splits. You decide, ball of the foot up or down, but have the heart open. So we don't want to be like this. We want to be nice long lines. So heart open, front leg is long, but not locked out, hips back. Take 1 more breath here. Stay for the exhale. Bend into the front knee, right hand under right shoulder, easy twist. And then we'll come into those rotations. So let's move the left arm to the back of the mat, and then gently 3 rotations, really lengthening the arm at the top of the movement. Second rotation. Third time round. When you get to the top, reversing the movements. 1, 2, 3. Reaching the left hand up and then bringing the left hand down. We're going to start to walk our left foot over into our pigeon pose. So moving slowly, big shape for this time of the class. Using a block for support if you like. Your heel can be as close to your back hip as you like. Inhaling to open the heart, exhaling, folding forward. 2 more like that. Inhaling, opening. Exhaling down. One more. Inhaling, opening the heart. Exhaling, folding forward. On your forearms or lengthening your arms forward. Just taking a couple of breaths here. Your left foot is flexed. Noticing the sensation in the left hip. See if you can use the breath to inhale into any feeling that you've got there. Exhaling to soften. Starting to bring yourself back up. And like we did on the other side, we're going to open ourselves out into a wide-legged shape. And just moving slowly. You want the hips to be happy. So moving in such a way that the hips feel happy in the hip sockets. Inhaling to open the heart. Exhaling, using a block for support if you need. Starting to walk yourself forward. So we're never forcing. We do want the heels pressed into the ground and the toes pointing up. We want to feel like we're sitting on the front of our sit bones. And we're using the exhale to soften us down. We mightn't get low at all, and that's fine. We're thinking about bringing the belly towards the mat rather than the chest. So we want a nice long spine. Taking a couple of breaths here. You can drop the head if you like. You can also have a bit of a bend to the knees if you like. And then inhaling, slowly starting to come up. Moving your legs around to the original top of the mat. So sitting up nice and tall, we're going to bring our hands in between our hip and our knee and rounding our back up to the ceiling so we can push into the hands. So if your hands are too far forward or too far back, you won't be able to press into them. Press into the hands, draw the belly to the spine, lift the sit bones off the ground so that your heels are still on the ground. Move your sit bones back and then place yourself down. Slowly with control. We'll do two more like that. Inhale, pushing yourself up, rounding your upper back, belly in, drawing your hip back. Exhale, coming down. One more or two if you're not near the back of your mat. You're making your way to the back of the mat this way. Maybe one more just for fun. Inhaling, pressing down. If you're already at the back of your mat, you might like to lift one heel and the other. See if you can float for a second. Exhale, coming down. Very good. Giving everything a little bit of a shake. A little bit of a crampy pose, and that's okay. Crossing one leg over the other. Rolling over. Back onto all fours. Just moving through a cat-cow here. Maybe two. And then tucking your toes, lifting your hips, downward facing dog. We're going to make our way to the top of the mat, and you can choose. You can take your little steps like we've done before. You can take a hop or a big step. Or if you like, you can bring your hands closer towards your feet so that you're in a tiny little down dog. Float onto the balls of the feet. Press the hands down. Pull the belly in, lean and see if you can float your feet towards your hands. And do 2 or 3 little floats like that to get to the top of the mat. Maybe you'll cramp. I know my legs often cramp in that situation. And then however you got to the top, rolling yourself up to standing, very nice. Arms out to the side and overhead. Maybe a little back bend here. Hands through center, folding all the way back down. Inhaling to halfway lift. Exhaling to fold. Chin to chest, rolling yourself up. let's sweep our arms out into the side and bring our hands back to center. And just stand here in mountain pose for a moment, bringing the feet under the hips, little engagement of the knees, little engagement of the pelvic floor, softening the shoulders down from the ears, and closing down the eyes to turn the gaze inwards. Notice your breath, the energy in your body, maybe your heartbeat. Just take a couple of breaths here, letting everything come back to normal. And then blinking open your eyes, bringing your weight into the left foot, start to bend the right knee, and inhale the knee to the chest. Flex the right foot. You've got your hands at your heart center. The steadier and softer your gaze is, the softer your breath is, the easier it will be. Start to lean forward, reaching your right leg back behind you through a warrior three. Dropping the right hip slightly if your leg's up and stepping back, warrior one. Back foot is at a 45-degree angle. Big bend in the front knee. Make sure the knee's directly above the ankle. Lengthen the arms up, but soften the shoulders down, belly in. Exhaling, leaning forward into your arrowhead pose. Take a breath here, nice long neck. Start to move your right arm forward and blossom open into your warrior two. Just the back foot, so arch and heel are in alignment. Leaning forward over your right leg, flipping your hand, reversing your warrior two. Opening back up, side angle pose. Pressing away from the leg to open the heart. Thinking about your left ribs coming in line with your right ribs. And then turning forward, both hands down, pyramid pose. You might want to step your right foot out a little bit. Again, inhaling to look forward halfway, exhaling to fold down. Your front leg is straight but not locked out. Pyramid pose. Taking a couple of breaths here. Draw your left hip back towards your right heel. So we don't want the hip splaying out to the left. Draw everything in. Inhaling here. Exhaling to fold. Start to bend through the front knee. Inhale, coming up. As you get to the top, straighten the front leg and come into a reverse triangle pose. Leaning forward into your triangle pose. So reach the left arm forward and then left hand down to your shin, to a block, to the earth, all the while squeezing your left sit bone under the body as you open your ribs towards the right side of the room. Maybe you're gazing at your top arm, triangle pose. One more breath here. Stay for the exhale. Start to look forward, right hand to your hip, left hand to your hip. Step the right foot forward. Bring your feet so that they're hip distance apart and start to bring yourself into a forward fold. Hands on hips to start and then bringing your hands down to the ground. Feet are a little bit wider than usual, maybe almost as wide as the mat. Inhaling to look forward. Exhaling to fold. Turn your fingers back and start to walk your hands towards the back of the room. So see if you can bend your knees a little bit. See if you can really snuggle your shoulders towards your knees. Pressing through both feet. Your fingertips are supporting you as well, letting your neck be long and the crown of your head softening towards the earth. Maybe you start to straighten the legs a little bit more. See if you can see the ceiling in between your legs. Take one more breath here. Stay for the exhale. Starting to look forward, gently bringing your hands forward, hands to heart, pressing through your feet, rounding yourself up to standing. Realigning your feet so they're hip distance apart, right foot under right hip, onto the balls of the left toe. Inhaling the knee to the chest. Squeeze the knee in towards the chest, flexing the foot. Start to move back into your warrior three. So really engaging through the back leg, dropping the left hip slightly. And then gently stepping back, warrior one. So finding your shape, widening the gap in the legs if you need to. Inhaling the arms up. Feel the outside blade of the left foot and think about spinning the inner left thigh towards the back of the room as the right knee's bent. Exhaling here into your arrowhead pose. The feet stay where they are here. Belly draws in towards the spine. Inhaling your left arm forward. Start to open it all the way into your warrior two. You can step the left foot back a little bit if you need. Align the front heel and the back arch. Leaning forward, flipping the palm, reversing your warrior two. Inhaling, coming back to your warrior two. Right forearm, right thigh, left arm up. Pressing the leg and the arm into each other to bring the right ribs under the body. Maybe gazing at the left palm. Taking a breath here. Breathe it away. Start to look down and find your pyramid pose. Hands on either side of the right foot. You can step the back foot out a little bit if you want. Inhale to look forward. Exhaling to fold. 2 breaths here. If you want your hands on blocks, that's a beautiful way to do this shape. The blocks can be on any level. So just feeling it out, just making sure the right hip is drawing in towards the left heel. One more breath here. Breathe it away. Start to bend through the front knee. We're going to bring ourselves all the way back up. Open up through a warrior two. Reverse, straighten the front leg. Reverse your triangle pose. And then exhaling into your triangle pose. See if you can bring your top arm in line with your bottom arm as you bring your right ribs through, squeezing the right sit bones towards the left arch of your foot, of your left foot. Triangle pose. And then left hand to hip, looking forward, bending through the right knee, right hand to hip, stepping forward into your wide shape. Inhale, coming up. So step the feet a little bit wider. Inhaling the arms up and overhead. Exhaling through heart center, bending the knees, bringing yourself into that forward fold. So you can walk your hands through, fingers pointing backwards, really trying to snuggle the shoulders under the knees, letting the head drop. Or you can see what happens if you bring the back of the left hand onto your hip or the back of your thigh, and the back of your right hand under the knee as well onto your right thigh. You might have a very big bend in the knees. If you get your hands to your hips or the outside of your leg, to straighten the legs. Otherwise, you're in your shape where you've got your hands through your legs. If you're blessed with really long arms and you can bring your hands to a bind on the back of your hips, you're welcome to do that as well. Wherever you are, we'll take 2 more breaths here. Stay for the exhale. Slowly start to bring yourself out of that shape. Chin to chest, rounding yourself up. Arms sweep up and overhead. Exhaling back to your mountain pose, bringing your feet back under your hips. Turning your gaze inwards, noticing, observing, witnessing, never judging. Constant conversation between the breath, the body, and the mind or the spirit. Starting to bend your knees, we're going to come all the way down, bringing your fingertips to the earth. Bring your heels together so your feet are pointing out slightly and start to come down into a little toe stand. So your heels pressed together, knees are going out to the sides. You can have your fingers on the earth, or maybe you're going to bring your hands to heart center. We've opened up the feet nicely. From there, fingers down. You can stay here, or you can try and thread the arms underneath your thighs, your shins, sorry. And maybe you're going to bring your hands onto the back of your hips again, like you did. Maybe you're going to hold the back of your heels. Maybe you're going to see if you can bring the crown of the head towards the earth. They're all just options. There's never a must do. Do the one that feels good in your body. Yoga is a constant practice, a dedicated practice. We never expect to just fly into a new shape and execute it perfectly. It's got nothing to do with perfection. It's just the continuity of practice. Gently coming up, bringing your knees back to center, starting to sit yourself down onto your sit bones, finding your Navasana, boat pose. So squeezing your thighs in towards your chest, lengthening through the lower back, staying there, or maybe you're releasing the hands, maybe you're straightening the legs, gazing forward. Just make sure that you're lengthening through your lower back. So hold on to the thighs if you find that you're slumping back. From there, we're going to slowly lower ourselves into low boat. Arms and legs and shoulders off the earth, only the lower back's on the earth. Draw the belly into the ground. Inhale, coming back up. 3 more. 1. Really press your whole lower back into the ground. Draw the belly in. 2. Shoulders off the ground, legs off the ground. 3. 1 more. Holding for a breath. Exhaling to release. Very nice. Just lying there for a moment. Receiving the effects of the shape. When you're ready, bringing your knees into your chest, giving them a big hug, a little rock side to side. And then holding onto the right knee, extending the left leg down the mat. Left hand to the outside of the right thigh, right arm out to the side. Exhaling into a twist to the left. Try and keep both shoulders on the ground. Starting to relax the body towards Shavasana. Your chin may be over your right arm. You can stay here, or you might want to hold on to the outside blade of the right foot and lengthen that foot over to the left. Maybe you're going to bend the left heel towards your sit bones and feel for the top of the foot with your right hand. If you've got it, move the left leg towards the right. It's called cat pulling its tail. Bringing both shoulders flat to the ground. If this shape doesn't feel nice for you, You can let go of the foot and just have your hand on your thigh, or do another twist of your choice. Let's take one more breath here. Stay for the exhale. Slowly start to unravel out of the shape, bringing your knees to your chest, giving them a little bit of a squeeze and a rock side to side. And then keep holding on to the left shin, right leg down the mat. Right hand on the outside of the left thigh, finding your twist. Left arm out to the left. Shoulders heavy to the ground. Couple of breaths here. If you took a variation on the other side and you'd like to take the same variation, do so. Maybe it's your right hand to the outside of the left foot, lengthening the left leg. Maybe that's plenty. Maybe bending your right knee, your right heel towards your sit bones, feeling for the top of that foot, moving that leg over towards the left and coming back to lying on your shoulders. Maybe your gaze is over your left shoulder or a variation that you took before. And then coming back to the breath, the quality of your breath, the rhythm of your breath. Starting to soften here towards Shavasana. Starting to notice the breath slowing down. And then very gently starting to unravel all of that. Coming onto your back, giving your knees a little squeeze and a little rock side to side. Very gently bringing yourself into your Shavasana, your resting pose, surrendering yourself to the mat, letting go of the control of the breath, letting go of the practice, enjoying the gifts of a few moments of rest in Shavasana. Letting everything surrender to the earth, softening everything. On the next inhale, gently starting to deepen the breath. If you'd like a longer Shavasana, of course, you're welcome to stay in Shavasana. Otherwise, bringing the focus back inside the body. Starting to bring some movement to the fingers and the toes. And then gently, knees together, rolling over onto one side. You can use your bottom arm as a pillow. And just pausing for a moment and noticing how the body's feeling, how the mind's feeling since you first stepped onto the mat. And then pressing your hands to the earth, slowly starting to bring yourself up to a seat. Any comfortable seat here, bringing your hands to your heart, taking a deep breath in here. Bowing forward, your forehead, your third eye towards your heart center. You come onto the mat, we come to practice. And sometimes we're confronted with a bit of challenge. And even though it may be a little bit confronting at the time, it's where all the growth happens. All the growth happens outside of our comfort zone. It doesn't last forever. It's a breath or two and then it's over. But it's building blocks for the next time we come to that shape or a similar shape. And one day, we don't even find those shapes challenging anymore. There's a different shape we've chosen or we've attempted that's providing us with the challenge. So never shying away from the challenge, embracing it with an open heart, because it's where we grow, where we develop, where we teach ourselves resilience, not only on the mat, but out in our everyday life. Taking a deep breath in here, bowing forward towards yourself, honoring yourself, your heart, and your amazing practice. Together we say, Namaste. Inhaling, bringing yourself up when you're ready. Thank you, everyone. Beautiful energy, beautiful practice. Look forward to seeing you on the mat again soon.